Welcome to the Black Swan Yoga Podcast. I'm Madilyn Chen. I'm joined here with Patsy Montoya. Today we are diving into the practice of gratitude. All things being thankful, finding joy, counting our blessings, and turning our hearts and our faces up to the sun. So, Patsy, how's it going? It's the week before Thanksgiving.
Yes, and I'm so excited. I absolutely love Thanksgiving. I loved that time to reflect, time to be with family and loved ones. And I just bought a new turkey hat that I'm excited to wear.
What?
Yes.
What is that?
It's this like stuffed turkey.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it looks like a big stuffed animal on your head.
Is it a beanie? With a turkey on top?
It's like a beanie with a turkey on top. Amazon.
Oh my goodness. I'm the total opposite. We're going to visit some family and everyone's like, all right, it is Thanksgiving. There's going to be a football game going on. So everyone has to wear a jersey. And I'm like, my outfit plan is now ruined. How am I supposed to be wearing a jersey? Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Now I just have to figure out who's playing. Okay. Oh my gosh. That's funny. We had some fun with our Black Swan logo, putting some turkey feathers on it this week. So we have a swanurkey. I don't know, a turkey something. Anyways.
Our Black Swan Friday sale.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, it is definitely a time of reflection and joy and excitement. And we're going to focus the podcast today on all things about gratitude. But before we do that, this is a season of chaos, and that can be fun or that can be stressful, definitely a little bit of both. So please take care of yourself and give yourself some time and space when you need it. One of the awesome tips you suggested in our last podcast about Vata season, which is happening right now. Vata season is this time of movement and breeze and upheaval and lots of change happening. One of the awesome tips that I've been practicing that you shared from last week was to just turn off the music in the car. Sometimes, if you're driving somewhere or you have a commute, instead of always having to have stimuli, music, talking on the phone, whatever, if you feel overwhelmed, just take a moment in silence. And that's been really helpful. So thanks for sharing that last week.
Absolutely. It's so important right now to ground. It's because, as Maddie said, like this is the time of year where it really can feel chaotic. It can be really exciting, but it also can be really stressful or anxiety triggering. So grounding, meditating, being with yourself, finding more silence is a really important tool right now to help you through this time.
Absolutely. Especially if you are spending time with family or traveling, which a lot of people do. And a lot of people sometimes can, family is exciting, but it also can be a trigger point or a stress point. So if you are a little apprehensive or have a tad bit or a lot of bit of anxiety going into next week with the holiday and family and everything happening, I would say, try to have some sort of like daily practice or even a mantra you could create for yourself that roots you in a sense of calm groundedness so that you feel your best and really are able to practice gratitude and happiness and all the things that the holidays meant for instead of stress and chaos and family arguments about whatever's happening in the world.
Absolutely. Family arguments. That's a real thing because it's, different personalities coming that grew up together, that knew you so well, coming back together. And, because they know you so well and you know them so well, it's easy to push buttons. So I think what you just said, having a mantra, preparing yourself, grounding yourself, daily practice really might help when your buttons are being pushed rather than being already on the edge.
Good luck, y'all.
You got this.
I'm just kidding. It's going to be great.
Wear your turkey hat.
Yeah. Pull it over your ears and your eyes just in case of turmoil. I'm just kidding. So let's talk gratitude. The practice of gratitude is something that can be totally transformative to your perspective and your mindset. I have practiced naming points of gratitude in the morning and evening throughout my life, and it has drastically changed the way I kind of perceive and feel and just exist. I especially turn to gratitude whenever I'm feeling stressed or blue. If I'm having a bout of depression or, doubt in myself or even lack of confidence or anything like that, turning into gratitude has been drastically life-changing for me. So, and it's just something so that is so simple. It's free. It's with you always. Your mind is always with you. So just counting your blessings is such a powerful thing.
Yes, it really does shift your perspective. Because when you are grateful and just grateful, there is no room to be fearful. There's no room to be, sad. If you are truly feeling the gratitude in your heart, it's very difficult to have room for anything else. And one thing that Maddie actually did years ago, I think that this is probably one of the first classes I took with you.
Cool.
At the very end. I love this. And this is funny that we're doing this podcast now because for some reason I thought about it last week and I did this with my students during Shavasana. She said, close your eyes and before you find any movement, think of 3 things about yourself that you're grateful for. And I love that because, sometimes when we get on the mat and we're in front of the mirror, we might nitpick about ourselves like, oh, I wish I looked this way. I wish I could do that or whatnot. And we forget how wonderful this body is. And just to be grateful for even all the effort that you put into this practice is really, I love that you said that. It made me think, I am grateful for my sense of humor or my compassion rather than going into the other side. I need to work on this with myself. I need to, there's always things to work on, but finding that sense of gratitude, I think will help you propel you to move forward with that as well.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I feel like being able to be thankful for other people is easier than being thankful for ourselves. Like we are naturally givers and extenders, and we like to support the tribe and the community. And I think when it comes to ourselves, just naturally, it's easy to allow ourselves to take a back seat and allow ourselves to get into that, either self-criticism or never thinking that we're going to get there and we're always working on ourselves. But it's important, so important to stop and reflect. So I think I like to do that at the Shavasana because it's important to reflect on things outward, other external things outside of you that are points of joy and gratitude in your life. However, doing that for ourselves can be really hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I teach, I word it like, like lay on your back, bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. And before you go to Shavasana, you have to name 3 things you're thankful for about yourself. And I like to watch and see how long it takes people. And it normally takes people a fair amount of time to reflect and really name those 3 things. And I think it's just something that we could all do so much more of in our day-to-day. So
100%.
Self-love, people.
Yes. And that might be a good tool for when you are doing that, really diving into your own self-study and noticing these points in your life when you're starting to feel down about yourself or, whatever's going on, maybe just like not having that boost of self-confidence. Take that time, name 3 things that you're grateful about. Gratitude truly is, in my opinion, it is the key to happiness, the key to, and not just like this flighting happiness, because happiness is something that we all go after. It's something that we all strive for. And many times it's something that we touch for a moment and then we come back into this depression or the sadness. Many times it's not like something that we can hold on to. But in my opinion, gratitude is something that we can, and that's a key to happiness. So if we can remain grateful through times of sorrow, times of pain, times of chaos, it's really going to take us into that place of joy smoother and easier and place of joy like longer rather than like just like small bits of happiness that you touch and go on.
Absolutely. They say in your brain you really have the power to reframe your perspective and the way you think about things. And in the brain, if you want to visualize this symbol, you have highways of thought. And the more frequently you drive a highway, it becomes ingrained in you. If you think about, the route you take to work or to school or something you take frequently, you often could do so mindlessly. And you could take this route without being super aware of where you're going and where you are. And the more often we think a thought, be it a negative or a positive one, it just becomes more easy and natural to do so. But branching off of that and getting into the fast lane to happiness, no toll included, no extra text tag, whatever, text tag, can really help give you the power, I think. Like for me, it's easy to fall into a place of victimizing myself of like, why me? Or like, I wish I had this or that, or why aren't I at this point in my life yet? Or why aren't I doing this yet? Or whatever. And to get out of that space and to live in this more deeply rooted happiness, like you're talking about, it takes, in my opinion, takes some discipline. It takes, a practice I've used over years is if I have something in my mind or a perspective that I want to change, I have strict discipline in my mind where it's an intention for weeks or months. And whenever I catch myself trying to go down the old highway of negativity, I say, no, I'm not going that way. I'm going a different route. And this is the new way. And this is the positive thought, be it gratitude or happiness or what have you. So, and physically, that symbolism of the highway is really how the neural pathways in the brain work. You have to rewire them. So the more you think something, the stronger and easier it is to think it. So do your best to shift and know that you have some power there. You have some guidance in your mind to shift to the good. And the more you do it, like you're saying, it's that deep-rooted happiness. It's not a fleeting thing. It'll just be this underlying tone of life is really great.
Yes. And it really is. And you don't have to lose something to realize how great it was. A lot of times I feel like it'll be, gone. And then we say, oh, it was so great. But when we have it, we might not take that time to say, wow, I'm so grateful for this. I mean, I'm so grateful for my eyesight, my hearing, it's just, as I said earlier, this body, it's incredible. And I love the point that you brought up that it's discipline. It takes work to reroute these new highways in the brain. So be patient with yourself, but do the self-study and the self-talk. Notice how you talk to yourself. And when you're, going into the negative highway, come back and then let it be a work, because it is. We're constantly a work in progress, which is a beautiful thing. There's always things to work on. But I think that gratitude is a way to really help you down that path.
Very powerful. I'm thinking a lot about the yogic philosophy of contentment and non-attachment. And those words can be really simple, right? Just being content, being okay with how things are. But the practice of it in line with gratitude is really interesting because, to me, I think it's really important that we don't get into a kind of false sense of gratitude by downplaying our struggles and trying to sweep them under the rug. Like, well, I shouldn't feel sad about this because I have all this in my life, and to me, like, suffering is suffering, even if it's something, if you compare two people suffering and you say, oh, this person has more than the other, just the fact that someone perceives their suffering or has that in their heart makes it real. So I think when it comes to the gratitude piece, it's like we're trying to shift our mindset into this positive place of sunshine, but not doing so by hiding or like stuffing things.
Right. We're repressing those feelings.
Yeah.
But really honoring, because suffering is a part of life. That's, that is part of being human. We have such an array of emotions too. And the darker emotions, these places of pain, these places that aren't bright and sunny, they're part of your life, and to honor them just as well. I'm so glad that you said that, because I think it is easy for us to say, well, I'm feeling this way. Maybe I shouldn't feel this way. I need to change it really fast. Instead of going through the feelings of whatever you're doing, diving deeper into them and saying, why do I feel this way? And what's going on with me? Without, I think it's a thin line too, without like indulging in them,
Totally.
And then that self-sabotage of being the victim.
Absolutely. Good luck. Again, twice in this episode. Good luck, everyone. I'm speaking to myself, okay?
Keep wearing your turkey hat.
Gobble, gobble. Oh my God. Yeah, it's life.
Yeah, yeah.
Complicated and
It-
hard and beautiful and everything.
Totally. And it is such a fine balance. I'm thinking, okay, what tools do I have that I could give you that I do in my life when I'm starting to like lean into these feelings, but then checking in with myself. And for me, I think it just always comes back to studying myself, like studying my thoughts so much and how I treat myself, how I talk to myself, is really gives me more insight to how I'm feeling. Because whenever it does become this place of it's everyone else's fault but mine, everyone's picking on me versus, well, I'm sad. Like I'm sad. And let's study why I'm sad and if I could, how I can, how can I nurture the sadness moving forward in a positive way, without like pressing it down.
Or building it up greater than it is.
Right.
Just being with it.
Yeah.
Letting it be just for a moment.
You said contentment, and the Sanskrit word for contentment is santosha. And I always ask our trainees in teacher training, well, does contentment, does that mean that you are happy? Does that mean that's joyful? Or, does it mean that like this place of being okay, even when things are not going all that great?
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's hard. So how do you practice gratitude? Like, walk me through what it looks like for you. Is it something you just think about, journal about, talk about? How do you bring it into your day-to-day?
Yeah, I love to journal about it. And actually part of my Ayurvedic practice of, slowing down and the self-care practice that I have, gratitude is a real big part of that. And so when I wake up in the morning, I might do some gentle stretches in the bed. But before I leave my bed, I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The book, The Magic, written by Rhonda Andrews. She wrote The Secret as well.
Oh, I haven't heard of The Magic.
Yes.
Cool.
One thing that she talks about in the morning is to take time to say, and maybe even write them down to 3 things you're letting go of for that day, 3 things that you're grateful for that day, and 3 things that you're going to work on for that day, 3 tasks for the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love like that sense of, all right, we're moving forward. So I'm going to say goodbye to this judgment. I'm going to say goodbye to, whatever it is, being hard on myself. Okay, gratitude. I'm grateful for this time with my dog, whatever, it's taking that time. I love that tactic, but I also use the tool of gratitude when things are really rough, when when I'm in the trenches of life and really starting to get down on myself. I look around at the simple things. And for me, it really is like remembering that the simple joy is the sunset, as my dog, my husband, which isn't simple, it's very profound, but they're the things that are around me every day that I might forget about, and I take advantage of.
Absolutely.
So taking that moment.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I feel like for me, the kicker or the key point with gratitude is making it so tangible and real. I feel like, back to the analogy of driving without thought, if you do something regularly and you have less mindfulness around it, or if you're reading and you let your mind wander and all of a sudden you're at the bottom of the page and you're like, oh, I didn't absorb any of that. Okay, I need to start over again. Just kind of that like wandering or daydreaming, like in a way that's like mindless, I guess. I find for me, when I practice gratitude, that it's best when I love journaling, but what I normally do is just think about it or even say things out loud while I'm either getting ready for the day or the night to go to sleep. And what really was the big change for me in the practice of gratitude is to make each thing I'm grateful for very tangible. So if I just go through quickly and say, I'm grateful for my bed, I'm grateful for my home, I'm grateful for my friends, it can be like I'm driving mindlessly or reading without really absorbing them. So I do my best to try to take a couple of minutes on each item and really let it sink in. So like if we go back to the mindset and this like deeply rooted sense of happiness, if we're filling up the way we think in our mind with this gratitude practice and describing, I'm thankful for my bed. I'm thankful because I have a safe place to sleep, a warm place to sleep, a place to rest my body. I'm thankful for how it feels and how it makes me happy and holds me and really goes in deep into it. It can be so much more real. And then I'm just spending more time thinking about it instead of just breezing right through it. So then my day is filled up. In a numerical sense, this is a math equation now, more time spent on gratitude.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like you look at the details and you ask yourself, why? As you said, like, my bed. Okay, why? Well, I have a safe place to sleep. It gives me great rest. It nurtures my body in that way. And details, like it's comfortable, it's soft. I love that.
Yeah.
Really being present with your own gratitude practice.
It helps me a lot. I felt like I plateaued in my gratitude practice where I was like, I need more. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It was doing something, but like just saying something for me as a visual person or someone who I like to think, and that's how I absorb things and learn. It really, I need to bring it to life with details and descriptors and why, and really dive in deep, like I'm reading something.
That's so cool.
It only takes a second. It's not like I'm spending, it's more time spent on this, but it's still in total 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
and you get to
it's
know.
Easy to do.
Totally. And you get to know yourself better, like, why am I grateful for this? Like,
you might surprise yourself.
You might, because you might realize that, well, maybe I'm not grateful for that. Maybe there needs to be changes, like
totally
whatever it is, like maybe this isn't actually working out, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's nice to share the practice of it. Another thing I'm planning on doing, and this is a little sneaky. Let me know what you think. It's not that, okay, let me know what you think.
Oh, I'm excited.
So I was thinking really sentimentally the other day, I'm about to go to visit my family. And it's one of the first times we've spent Thanksgiving together, my extended family, uncles, cousins, and everything in a long time. And I was just thinking about the trip, getting excited about it. And then was thinking about how awesome everyone is and how thankful I am for each person. And I was like, wow, damn, like I've got a great group of people. I'm really thankful that I have this family and then I get to spend time with them. And I was like, I want to, I'm a yoga teacher. It comes with a stigma, okay? If you're pursuing teaching yoga, just a warning. I'm just kidding. But really, when you go to, family stuff, you have like bankers and like salespeople. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, namaste. Let me tell you. Let me help you with your problems.
Right.
Anyways, so I was thinking about, I wanted to extend my gratitude to my family. And I was like, it'd be really sweet if I could just go to each individual person and tell them, I'm really thankful for this about you in my life. You've, always been like this or that, or you've taught me this, or, I love spending time with you because blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it sneaky. So it's a little bit less, comes off across as like yoga hippie lady.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think I'm going to try to do it just really casually, but still meaningful and go just to each person in my family at some point over the weekend and just like give them a hug and just say, compliment them in some way.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So it's not, so I am pretending to be a normal person, but really underneath it, I'm a yoga goddess.
Still the yoga goddess. Yes. I love that. Because also,
I'll let you know how it goes.
That I think that's
because it's scary to do.
Oh yeah.
I was like feeling sentimental about it. I'm like, God, I really want to just like extend more of my heart and my love. But then I'm like, that fear of rejection or like, is this going to come off across as a little bit too lovey-dovey or cheesy? And
maybe not.
It's hard to share openly like that.
Totally. And I think also a lot of people, unless you are in like a yoga community or just a really loving community, sometimes it's not seen as sincere.
Totally.
So I do really like the idea of you looking in their eyes and saying that so they can feel that whenever you do say that. And opening yourself up as an example of like, it's okay to do that. And I like it too, because I tend to, I love to write stuff down, but then I find myself getting overwhelmed if I want to write everyone a note, like telling them how grateful I am, and then I just won't do it. So I love that you're making like this act of service through your eye contact and through opening your heart and through hugging them and like really speaking your words in person. I think that's beautiful.
Thanks.
And knowing that maybe they will.
Try it out, you guys.
Right. Absolutely.
Join me.
Yes. Maybe they will like reject it in their own way. And that's okay. Like maybe it,
it's the way bashful or
whatever, but it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Share the love.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude can be practiced in so many different ways. It doesn't always have to look and feel one way. It doesn't have to be thinking about it or journaling. It can be, just sharing a compliment or a hug or a hello to someone you care about. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we hope you guys have a lovely holiday season. We want to wrap this podcast up with more gratitude.
Yes.
It's infinite. That's the beauty of gratitude and the positive thinking. There's no limit to it. And I think that's a really important thing to realize and feel, that being in this place of love for yourself and for other people has no bounds. And there's enough to go around for everyone. And you can open your heart and it'll just keep expanding and keep loving and keep growing. So it's not like it's a finite thing.
Yeah. You have abundance, recognizing that. So we would like to each say one thing on behalf of the Black Swan Yoga community that we are grateful for. And something I was thinking about this morning is the fact that Black Swan started as one small studio off 6th Street in downtown Austin, Texas, and as the first donation-based yoga studio in Austin. And it took people coming in and the goodness of their hearts to keep the studio growing. And now, we're in multiple cities. We have this platform with podcasts, with BSY TV for us to practice, around the world with different people. And so something I want to say on behalf of Black Swan, we are so grateful for people showing up and for people for giving from the goodness of their hearts to keep us going.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Definitely.
And I would like to say thank you straight to you specifically. You are tuning in to listen. And to me, that's a symbol of your quest for more love in your life and more love for yourself and the people in your life, spreading your love and sharing this positivity. And it's not an easy thing to stay committed to. So thank you for practicing yoga, for listening to this podcast with us, just tuning in to your higher self and being committed to that constant growth. So on behalf of everyone at Black Swan Yoga, thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you are craving more of that, we have lots of different platforms that we'd love to have you join us for. I mentioned Black Swan TV. Please come do yoga with us from your own living room. Another one, if you're really looking for more information on the yogic path, join our teacher training team. It's all on blackswanyoga.com. You can send us an email, hello@blackswanyoga.com. Would love to hear from you. If you're even just the slightest bit interested, check it out. I really urge you to, there's a reason why you're interested.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Patsy.
Yes, thank you, Maddie. Wear your turkey hat. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Namaste.